Hey, it's KT and my very good friend Kathy Rail here to tell you about the production office. We're both coordinators. We've worked on many productions together. And so what usually happens? You get a phone call from a UPM and they say,
we are shooting a movie in, just to say, Wilmington, where fortunately we have a production studio, a movie studio called Screen Gems, which means it just makes life easier for production people because there, of course, are existing sound stages to do shooting, but that also means that there are existing production offices. You don't have to go out and find a warehouse or an abandoned building to set up production. So here at Screen Gems, we would walk into this place and we would kind of decide who would go where, what department would go in which office, and here is where the actual production office personnel would be. Say Kelly, his APOC, which is the Assistant Production Office Coordinator, his secretary and his PA, sit in here. We would call the production, or call the studio, get some phones set up, get some Wi-Fi set up,
fax machines,
just everything you need to have a functioning
cabinets.
Yeah, all the basics.
Because there's nothing here. When we walk in here, this is all you got.
Yeah.
Every pencil, every pen, every pad of paper, every computer.
Yeah.
Everything we bring in.
We bring in. Now, if it were to be if you're shooting a movie in a city that doesn't have a studio, you really have to start from ground zero.
And that means you have to call the phone company. You have to set up an account. You have to get the copy machines in here. You have to do everything. You do all that fast.
Quickly, yeah.
Because they call you and then they're like, we're going to open offices tomorrow. And other departments don't realize that it takes a fair amount of work to get up and running. They expect to be a phone to work and when they walk through the doors.
Right. Well, the goal is by the time the director, the producer, all the department heads walk through the door, they never knew this was an empty office. No. They only see it as a functioning, active production office, and that's an undertaking, but
so that's the first thing we do. The second thing we do, we actually, like you said before, we hire our crew that we're going to have in here, and we assist the UPM in finding the shooting crew, which means get on the phone, see who's available, get resumes, and other departments. Accounting usually comes in when we do, and we assist them also setting up accounts and vendors, getting vendor lists. We are vendor people.
Yeah, right.
We know everyone in town.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why we function.
And that's why if we go to a strange town, a new town, we start immediately making those contacts with cell phone people or even restaurants, just everyone, to let them know we're here and we're going to be doing business, and you do it quickly and, you know, just to make the production as comfortable as possible, as quickly as possible. And once we're up and running, once we have all that kind of done, that's when, and the crew begins to be hired, that's when Kelly, you know, the coordinator, and the UPN begin renting equipment. We have to think about housing all the crew and the cast members, and you know, getting all those logistics down. Which
hotels,
yeah,
big homes for bigger actors.
Yep.
Cable, making sure that everything works.
Yeah.
Cleaning people.
Yeah.
It all goes through this office. Everything goes through this office, no matter what it is, no matter what. Even the phone call from the studio to the director or the UPM. Everything goes through here. We basically, everything feeds through us. Information is one of the things that's part of our title.
Yeah, if there's a production meeting, which is a huge part of pre-production, everyone finds out the time and place of a production meeting through the production office. We make the phone calls or we send the emails to let everyone know. If there's anything, if there's a location scout, if the department heads have to get together and drive in a van to scout the locations, everyone, it's just coordinated through this office. Any bit of information that you need is through the production office. Okay, so then we would essentially just call the studio production office and have some furniture brought in, get the phones put in, get the Wi-Fi started, you know, get things going. It's essentially where everything happens. The script initiates here, the schedules, any meetings, any production meetings, everything is coordinated through this office. We would walk down the hall here. We set up all the department heads. You want to walk down?
Sure.
Can I start down? Start down. This office, just off the side of the production office, would generally be where the UPM is, the production manager. He needs to be pretty close to the production office so he can make his demands. Probably get it done.
And then you have all these other offices for like accounting,
ADs. The
ADs,
director will have an office.
directors' offices, and so on and so on. Our department is usually down much bigger. Everything all the way down the hall. But as you can see, it's very empty. Now, we'll go back up. And that's when we're lucky enough to actually have a studio to set up offices. We've done jobs in Charleston where it was a hospital. Remember the old hospital? That was really creepy. But we set up for a show called Leo Bloom. Leo Bloom.
Came out as Leo.
That was a pretty good show, except halfway through, we had to change offices. What was there, some kind of health problem in that building? And they made us go to the post office and set up, remember?
We had to go to the old Army base.
Yeah.
Right?
Right, Navy base. And then we went, they told us we had to move our whole production office, which was totally set up, all the way, like you just saw, all the way down the hall, into another building on a weekend. Because we were actually filming. And that was a little tougher because we actually had to bring in furniture, we had to bring in the phone lines, we had to do faxes, we had to bring in the file cabinet, I mean everything has to come in. And it was this huge, what I guess was a post office offices. And we had to put these little, what were these, dividers, room dividers, remember? And then everybody had like a desk behind it.
Right.
It was awful.
Yeah, it was. It was huge, but it was awful. I mean, we had plenty of room to work, but it was unusual for production.
Because we always have to be functional. I mean, on every job, the production office is responsible, really, for the information. And if there's a hurricane, guess who the two last people are out the door?
That's right.
It's us. We make sure that everybody else has gotten to safety. And we're the ones that book the hotel rooms.
Right.
We're the ones to make sure
Fly
all the
out.
babies and everything are comfortable. Nobody really cares about us.
And after 9/11, actually,
remember that show?
September 11th, the day after, of course, there were no planes flying, and
we were doing reshoots.
We're doing
for
reshoots.
Domestic disturbance.
For domestic disturbance, and we had to find ways of getting people to and from, and we actually. I guess it was a couple days after, even before any commercial flights were flying, we were able to get people to and from LA.
We had to get Paramount, I guess, Paramount flew their jet.
Right.
Travolta flew his jet here with his people.
Right.
And, but yeah, and we were set up in offices that we'll go to next down the annex. But yeah, it's this is where all the information flows.
Yeah.
It's a little quiet right now, but
yeah, this activity level is nothing like what it normally is, but it's exciting and it's fun and it's an addictive energy, and it is for some people and it's not for some people because it is stressful and you have to think on your feet, and there's not much room for error because you can mess up a lot of people if you mess something up.
And they're not shy about calling you.
No, they in fact some really kind of relish in the fact that there's a mistake and they can jump on you. But you know, I can say that after all these years of working together in Kelly's current production office, you are able, if there is a mistake, you can kind of fix things. And that's kind of the well-oiled machine that it becomes after a few years together. So you learn to work together well. You have to, because you spend a lot of time together, a lot of hours in a small space, and yeah, you get to know each other's.
Our people managers. You have to have a lot of people skills because we are dealing with like 200 people. I mean, from post, the studio, to the people on the shooting crew. So you have to really handle them in different ways.
It's true. And you also, one thing I've learned through the years is, you know, of course you also have to deal with the cast. And sometimes that's challenging. I mean, sometimes they're the greatest people you will ever meet, but there are some that, of course, are ruled by their egos, to say the least, and you really have to learn how to work around that.
Remember the actress in on one of the actresses?
You can't say the production.
I can't say the name.
No, you
won't say the name
nor the production because it can be
it'll come back. Just totally decided I'm not going to fly today. Remember that phone call?
Because you're still in LA.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you mean you're not coming today? I've decided not to come today. That causes implosion. That was a rough.
Elizabethan proportions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
But
good.
we have to solve that problem because at the end we had to get her here.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
It just takes, it gets psychological sometimes. You just have to get the right person on the phone to kind of talk them down, and have to rearrange schedules, and you have to spend a lot of money, and it costs a lot of money when someone on a whim just decides they don't want to do something. Someone who's that, what they call above the line, they can really cause some problems.
Some troubles. I remember on another film that we did together that one of our actors got hurt, and we had to fly him home on a private jet, and we had to call his wife, which was not a, wasn't a really comfortable situation to be in, but we had to do it.
Yeah.
And
yeah, so it's a people person job too, to say the least.
in a big way. I mean, we really do interact.
Yeah.
Not just, you know, through paper and emails, but one-on-one.
Yeah.
So, I didn't talk about you.
Yes.
Let's talk about Kathy Rail. Kathy, where are you from?
I'm originally from South Carolina.
Yes, very, very hot, steamy state.
Indeed it is.
Where? Columbia?
Columbia, South Carolina, yes.
And when did you get into the film industry? You actually were in the music industry first.
Yeah, I worked for Elektra Records in New York, and I was in both worlds up there because I was in music video production. And so we made the music videos for the bands that were signed to Elektra. And so that got me into film production because it's essentially making a small film in 3 weeks. And of course now, and it's very different now, but at the time, it was a few years ago, it was a movie production.
Big budget. Girlfriend had a gold credit card. She was at the top.
Well,
there.
I hadn't made it that far. But
expense accounts.
Well, yeah, it was cool. It was cool. But anyway, moved down to Wilmington to start making films down here, and got into production here, which I was I had moved up to a manager for Elektra video production, and it was all the same coordination for the music videos that I was doing down here for feature films and for television.
And seamless kind of stepped right in.
I had to kind of work my way up again once I came down to Wilmington, but it was pretty quick because, you know, I met you, and Kelly kind of taught me, or he did, just taught me everything that I needed to know to work in film and television, and so here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah. It's been
Grooving. Trying to get her back into the film industry. She got out for a little while, and hopefully soon we'll be working together.
Yeah.